Hello, our lesson today is telling time to the 5-minute mark. And let's talk about this question first. How can skip counting by fives relate to telling time? Well, we've already kind of talked about this before. The thing I want you to focus on right now is whatever method you learned for counting to 100 by fives. Okay, I want you to focus on that. I learned a little song to help me remember 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. That's how we count by fives. Now, obviously, when I was counting to 100, I'd go to 100. But I'm stopping at 60 because there are only 60 minutes in an hour, so there's only 60 minutes on the clock that we need to worry about. So we're going to stop at 60. A minute to just think about how you skip count by fives, and then let's look at it with clocks. So this one says skip count by fives starting from 40. So right here, they've got it written out for us. We have 40. So the next one after 40 would be 45. Remember, we've got our pattern of fives. And then it would be 50. And then 55. Okay. Then it says, then draw the hands on the analog clocks to represent 6 hours. So that's going to be in the hour hand pinned to the 6. Probably between 6 and 7. Guess because it's not near the first of the hour, maybe the end of the hour. So between 6 and 7, and I apologize for my not very straight hour hands. Each one of the clocks are going to be pointing at that same hour hand, so just draw those in. Now we need to draw our minute hand starting with 40 minutes on this purple clock. So I remember from our last lesson that 6 represents 30 minutes and 9 represents 45 minutes. And we want to start 5 minutes before 45, so our 5-minute one is right here on the 8. So our minute hand is going to point to the 8, and we can also figure that out going this way around. It just takes a little longer. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay, then our next one would be at 45, the next 5-minute mark showing at pointing to the 9, or our quarter 2, the next hour of 7. And then it would be pointing to the 10 for 50 minutes. That would also be counted as 10 too, just for fun information. And then our orange clock would show, oh, I wrote 50 and 50. I better change that. I want to make sure we have the right information on here. That's 55 minutes. Okay, there we go, that's better. And then we're showing 55 minutes is pointing to the 11. So we can see as it moves around in our 5-minute increments, 40, 45, 50, and 55. Okay. So this isn't the page that we start on, I apologize. This one is a great representation of how we can sometimes get confused. So I'm going to show you on my clock what they're asking here. So Jolene runs a lap every 5 minutes. She starts running at 9:10. So let's make 9:10 on our clock right here. So my hour hand is pointing over here at the 9. Okay, and then my minute hand, a lot of people might think that my minute hand needs to be pointing to the number 10. But is that pointing right here 10 minutes after the hour? No, that is 50 minutes after the hour. So we'll make sure that when we are doing it, we're thinking about the minutes and not thinking about the number of the hour that the hands represent. So if we were talking about 10 minutes after the hour, we would go 5 and 10. So really we're starting with the minute hand pointing at the 2. Okay, so that's 9:10, and then every 5 minutes. So we would jump our clock around 5 minutes 5 times. So this is lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, lap 4, and lap 5 being hidden by my hand. There we go. Okay, so she would start at 9:10 and she would finish. Draw our hand. There would be 9:10 on the 2, 15, 20, 25, and 30 would be 5-minute laps 5 times. So she finishes at 9:30. Let's see, make sure that that's lap 1. She runs 5 laps. 2, one says, oh, so she's running 5 more laps. So we'd add another 5 minutes, I apologize. So if this is lap 1, it takes her 5 minutes to run lap 1, 5 minutes to run lap 2, 5 minutes to run lap 3, 5 minutes to run lap 4, and 5 minutes to run lap 5. I apologize. Make sure that you're double checking those because I would have gotten that problem wrong. So when she was running, we have to count 5 minutes for each lap that she did run. This is the first page you're going to be working on, so make sure you pause the video, make sure you get this page. It is page 619. And this is where we're going to start, and I want you to do this along with me. So I'm going to get my pen and my writing tool. What we're going to do is we are going to figure out what time would be showing on this analog clock if our minute hand is pointing to the 8. So you're going to draw a minute hand in first, and then we're going to count around the clock by 5s. So each time we jump one of these arrows is 5 minutes. So we're going to write 5 on the first jump. And the next jump, that's 10. Go ahead and finish off the rest of the clock. I'm going to write it in while you do. So when we get around to the 8, we can see that we've counted by 5s all the way to 40. So our time would be, we read the hour hand first, it's between 5 and 6, so it's the 5 o'clock hour. So it would be 5:40. Count it all the way there. And once you've been practicing with these for a while, you're going to start memorizing the numbers that are associated with each one of these hour markers, and it will become second nature. It will be really quick for you. For now though, feel free to use your paper clock and to count it out by just like we did here. Or to find the closest mark that you remember. I remember the 6 is 30 and then it would be 35:40. Or I remember 45 and I go back 5 minutes is 40. However is easiest for you to remember to get those 5-minute marks. That's what we just did. Okay, here's our vocabulary page. Now this one doesn't have any new vocabulary. Just remember our hour hand is the shorter word, so that's the shorter hand, and the minute hand is the longer word, that's the longer hand. And this clock is our analog clock that uses the hands. This is our digital clock that uses all numbers. So it takes 5 minutes for the minute hand to move to the next number, and you can skip count by 5s to tell time just like we did. So on the bottom portion of that page, we have 3 problems. Actually, there are 4 problems, but the next one's on the next slide. So we're going to tell which time. So remember, we read the hour hand first, and then we read the minute hand. So go ahead and take just a minute to write those in. Go ahead and pause the video, write those in, and then check it out. I'm going to just move to the next slide so we don't have to wait for me to draw them all. So if we look at the time on these, we've got our hour hand on 12, minute hand is down on the 4, so we count 5, 10, 15, and 20. Okay, same thing here, hour hand to 3 is between 3 and 4, so it's the 3 o'clock hour. And we've counted all the way around to 55 minutes. And this one shows between the 4 and 5 hours, so 4 o'clock. And then it's gone 25 minutes around the clock, so it's 4:25. Okay. And then it says tell what time is shown and draw the minute hand to show the time on this green analog clock. So we'd read what time this one says, 10:35, and we'd draw the matching minute hand. So we'd have to count around until we get to 35. Go ahead and do that. And that's where our minute hand should be pointing this beautiful pink hand, pointing to the 7. Okay. So the next page is on your phone. Make sure that's, yes, page 621. We're going to be counting by 5s to tell time. And this is where you're going to be starting doing this work on your own. Hopefully you've got your paper clock handy in case you need to use that for counting around. It might be easier to count on that big one to get ours. And remember the hour hand, if it is not past the next number, so like when it's getting close on these 10s and 11s on 50 and 55 minutes, sometimes kind of hard to tell, and that's where sometimes you'll get confused. So make sure you remember if it's between the numbers, it's still in the hour of the first number, so it would still be 3 o'clock, not 4 o'clock yet. Okay, hopefully that's a quick little tip to help you out. Good luck!